Welcome to the Good Growing Podcast. I am Chris Enroth, horticulture educator with the University of Illinois Extension, coming at you from Macomb, Illinois. And we have got a great show for you today. We have got an onslaught of gardening questions for you, and we have our answers on the way. But you know, I definitely can't do this one by myself. I am joined, as always, every single week by horticulture educator Ken Johnson in Jacksonville. Hey, Ken.
Hello, Chris. I think you'd be able to do this without me.
Well, only because we've said kind of before the show that we're gonna try to give like quick answers, and my one word answer of I don't know or is that's still an answer technically speaking.
Yes. That's technically correct.
Technically, yes.
The best type of correct.
Or it depends. Yeah, longtime fans of the show know that's the best answer that we can give you. It depends. Well, if folks have listened to the show, if you listened last week, you know that we talked about it is dry, and guess what? It's still dry. No rain yet. I think there's been some storms, and by scattered, widely scattered. Not everybody is getting the fall moisture that we would typically get. So still dry here in Macomb. How about you, Ken?
Same in Jacksonville. I know we talked about last week a crack in my yard. I actually went out and measured it, and I can put a picture in of it here. It's about a little over 10 inches deep.
Nice.
Now, I will say this is where we got our water line replaced. So there's a lot of clay subsoil in that area. So it's cracking a little more than the rest of the yard. But yeah, 10.5 inches, give or take.
So you're tethering the kids before they go out in the yard, right? You got to tie them off onto the porch or something so they don't get lost.
Go build a bridge here soon over it.
It's nice. All right. Well, the other thing that's going on this week is being very dry in Illinois is it's National Houseplant Week. And so, yay, houseplants. We all love our houseplants. I especially like mine. I need them in the winter. I mean, I really do. In terms of a boost of green, my mood, joy, all of that. I definitely need a little bit of foliage in the winter months, especially. So it really helps. And unfortunately, I've never lived in a good house for houseplants. So I don't have many good houseplants. I got some aloe, pothos. I have a Dieffenbachia, and a mother-in-law's tongue, also known as snake plant. And that's really the only things I can survive in my house. How about you, Ken? I know you got a couple different ones in there.
We also do not have a good house for houseplants, but we still have probably more than we should have, given our house. We've got different types we got Thanksgiving cactus, we've got Christmas cactus, we've got the Easter cactus, so those holiday cacti that all get lumped together as Christmas cactus. We've got all three types of those, different colors. We've got some Monstera that I purchased for the Monstera show, and somehow they're still alive. Not looking much better than when we recorded that, but they're still alive. Got some ZZ plant, various different cacti, succulents, bunch of carnivorous plants. But a lot of these are growing under grow lights year round, just because we don't have a lot of good windows, and they get taken outside. Sometimes they get forgotten about and don't get watered. So if they're inside, they're not out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it is, well, not really getting cold outside. It's maybe time to start considering bringing in your houseplants. I know when I water mine, which are all outside right now, that probably once every few days when I'm watering them, a toad pops right out of the soil. Very common for that to happen in, probably say about December. I'll be in the laundry room where I have all my lights set up and my outdoor house plants are inside then. And all of a sudden I see this big old toad just hopping around in the basement. And I'm like, oh, buddy, you picked the wrong time and the wrong place to wake up. So yeah, it's time to scout around, I think, and start getting those plants ready to be moved indoors.
Yeah, nothing. Ants will move in a lot of times into potted plants. So flushing those with water, trying to drive those ants out. If you can't get them out, may think about repotting before you bring them inside, so you're not bringing all kinds of ants into your house, which most people are not terribly excited about when that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just ants. They don't bother me. I like ants. They're one of my favorites. Nature's
Yeah,
housekeepers.
yeah, clean up for you. As long as they're
They
not
do.
carpenter ants, that's all good.
Yeah, or fire ants. Fortunately, we don't have those in Illinois, knock on desk.
Yet.
Yeah, yet. Oh yeah. Um, I I guess with National Houseplant Week, that's big news. The other thing that's big news is that I have pawpaws. Yeah, it's pawpaws harvest time. So we have a master gardener who she has lots of pawpaw trees for fun, but she has enough for fun pawpaw trees you could almost classify it as like a commercial growing operation. It's a lot of pawpaws, and she has several different types, different varieties. Um, and so what I'm holding right here, she's labeled them. She gave me a bag of them. This is Pennsylvania Gold or Pennsylvania Golden, and this this you can see this on YouTube that I'm holding up. It looks basically it's like the shape of a potato. Looks like a potato, but it's a pawpaw. But then this one also Pennsylvania Gold is a much smaller looking potato. Same tree, um, but they smell currently my office is just an aroma of like mango, banana, very tropical smelling right now. I mean, it's like I'm at some kind of buffet in like Hawaii or somewhere. It smells great in here. Um, so I'm really looking forward to getting some pawpaws on my plate because this is the season. And yeah, I'm super excited. She has all different types. This is labeled BT, which she said stands for big tree. It's kind of a wild pawpaw that they're now most pawpaws like this Pennsylvania one. This is a grafted tree, but this one here she grew from seed and it's just a wild pawpaw tree. Um, and so we actually had Doug Gooker on the show a couple years ago to talk about pawpaws. So if you really want to dive deep into that, we can leave a link below in the show notes. Um, but I guess Ken, pawpaws they're an interesting tree. They're an understory tree, and how are they pollinated? This is wild.
Yeah, so they have these beautiful, kind of dark purple, flesh colored, rotting flesh colored flowers that supposedly don't smell good. I've been fairly close to the flowers. I don't smell anything. I've never stuck my nose in one either, but kind of a less than desirable fragrance, and they're pollinated by flies, usually like carrion flies, house flies, things like that. So it gives off, it looks like rotting flesh, smells like rotting flesh. Flies visit it, kind of thinking that's something I can lay my eggs on. They'll crawl around, pick up pollen, realize it's not, move off to the next flower and pollinate that way.
Smart plant, yeah. And then those flowers, they're born in clusters, and then they actually, now this here is a fruit that is still barely attached to the cluster that was on the tree. So, folks, you can see, oh, blur, don't you do it. The where different pawpaws were attached right here, and yeah, so these are these like clusters, and when they're ready, they fall, and that kind of indicates that they're ready. Now, our master gardener, she did say that they really do fight the raccoons for these. They it's a really good meal for raccoons. Deer don't seem to care about them, other than rubbing their antlers on them this time of year. But it's a raccoon. So what she has done after talking to a wildlife nuisance control operator is they do a two-strand electrical wire. And I wish I had these numbers off the top of my head, but she puts one low to the ground, just a few inches off of the ground. And then there's another one about a foot higher. And so basically, she just has to step over about a foot and a half ish step over the two strands of electrical wire. And she said that has been enough to keep the raccoons away from their plantation of pawpaw trees
Until they figure it out.
until the until life finds a way, and it will. She says we still got squirrel problems. You're not going to solve those, but yeah, but at least the raccoons solve those. So yeah, I have so many pawpaws I get to eat, and then we'll harvest the seed out of here, and see if I can get some trees going in my neck of the woods.
Saying if people want to eat pawpaws, probably need to go to like a farmer's market or find somebody who's got them because you're not going to
Hmm.
find them in the grocery store. They're really soft. They don't ship at all. I don't think they have a very long shelf life either. So
No.
they're about the worst fruit you could have for kind of our commercial production as far as grocery stores
Mhm.
and all that.
Now, I do think I remember Doug mentioning that there are certain pawpaw growers in the US that will overnight fly pawpaws to France because there are chefs over there that like this is a special cuisine, seasonal cuisine for French chefs cooking over in France that have pawpaws over there. I'm sure they make all kinds of custards, baked goods, all of that stuff. Actually, our master gardener, she would supply our local brewery with pawpaws, and they would make a pawpaw beer out of it. It was quite good.
Time for lightning questions.
I, I think so. Well, so this next round of questions that we have, um, basically what we did is we asked the old AI. We said we mined the depths of the internet search engines and we said, what are people searching for the most right now on September 16th, 2025? And the AIs gave us a list of questions. And so Ken and I are going to go through this list lickety split, lightning fast, answering these questions. We'll do our best, right, Ken? We'll try.
Yes, I think there's a couple we threw in here too that we've gotten, but
Yes, that seem to be pretty routine, or like Ken or I are seeing these around quite a bit. So yeah, that might be a common question people might have too locally. So, you ready, Ken?
as I'm going to be.
Excellent. All right. The first question here is: I have ants in my yard, don't we all? And aren't they great? How do I keep them out of my yard?
Um, this one there's really not a good way to do that. I mean, ants are everywhere, and they're good. I mean, for the most part, they're good to have in your landscapes. You know, they're tunneling through the soil, aerating it. Some of them are going to be predatory, and they're providing ecological services for us. If they're at a spot where so I would encourage people not to try to get rid of ants unless they are causing problems. And obviously, if you're in the southern part of the country with fire ants, that's a different story. But we don't have to worry about that in Illinois as of now. If you wanted to get rid of, if you've got a nest, maybe it's right by the driveway or something, and you're tired of looking at the ant hill or something. If you really wanted to, you can get a pesticide, apply that to the mound, um, and kind of take care of it that way. But I would encourage people to reconsider trying to get rid of the ants because they're everywhere. You can get rid of a mound. Something else will move back in eventually.
Oh, great answer, Ken. I love it. Like lightning fast, but verbose in explanation. I loved it. All right, Ken, here comes the next one. I have these black spots all over my maple leaves. What are they? Big blotches.
So maple tar spot is more than likely what it's going to be. This is a pretty common disease we have on maples. It's really an aesthetic disease. Doesn't really hurt the plants unless you've got leaves completely covered, but rarely, if ever, see that. It's more just kind of here and there. They will overwinter on those leaves. So if you don't like the look of it, rake it up, get those leaves out of there because they'll overwinter on that. The spores will be released in the spring. If we have nice moist weather, right conditions, it'll infect the leaves in the spring, and then it's kind of there. You kind of get light yellow patches on the leaves, which most people don't notice. You don't really notice it a lot of times until the fall when you get those big black circles on there. So just an aesthetic, don't really need to worry about it. Good conversation starter. If it really bothers you, get rid of all your leaves. Get them out of the landscape.
All right, next question. Can I still plant perennials and trees in the fall?
Yes.
Excellent. Good question. Good
and
answer.
I would say, for this year, 2025, and well, last year we were dry too. If you're going to be doing that, and we are in drought conditions or it's been very dry, we want to make sure we're watering those plants very well while they're getting established. This year, depending on where you're at in the state, you're probably want to water before you try to plant because you're going to have a hard time digging into the soil. But yeah, we can, as long as the ground isn't frozen, you can still potentially plant stuff. Just make sure they've got enough moisture, help them get established.
Next one, here we go. Is it too late to sow fall vegetables?
So this is going to be that depends. Depends on
Mhm.
what you're going to grow. We're probably getting a little late without you having some kind of season extension for like lettuce, some of those leafy greens. Again, it's all going to depend on the weather when the frost comes. But as our days get shorter, that growth really slows down on stuff. Something like radishes, you could still do those. That's pretty quick turnaround for those. Um, I don't know if carrots. I think we're probably getting too late for that unless you can find one that's got a pretty short turnaround. So for most
Mhm.
stuff, yeah, we're probably middle of September. We're getting a little late for a lot of the state, maybe far southern Illinois. You can have a little more wiggle room. If you've got some kind of season extension, low tunnel or cold frame, something like that, you may be able to draw it out a little bit, but with the days getting shorter,
Yeah.
growth is really going to start slowing down.
It's those shorter days that really do them in, that they have to reach some growth point by, was it like November 10th, where, around that area where our days just get too short for a lot of active plant growth.
Yeah, a lot of our fall garden is more that August
Mhm.
timeframe when we're planting that.
All right. Should I cut back my perennials now? The internet wants to know.
Say, should I would say no. Can yes. So I mean, yeah,
Sure.
you can cut them back. It depends on the plant too, and a lot. I think we're more and more trying to get away from that, cleaning up the landscape really well. Leave some of that stuff lay out for your habitat for pollinators and other wildlife out there. If you've got disease issues, then yes, cut that back and get that out of there, so you don't have that inoculum for next year. So you can, if you want that nice, clean, manicured look, but maybe think about leaving some stuff. You've got the seed heads and stuff that birds can feed on. Various insects will overwinter in plant debris uh, and stuff. And obviously, if you've got a really bad pest outbreak, then yeah, clean that up to get them out of there stuff. But yeah, it's a little bit of a case by case. But if you don't have any issues, I would encourage people to maybe hold off on that until the spring.
Mhm. Okay. And Ken, your final internet popular search question is: my annuals look bad right now. Don't all of ours? What should I do?
Well, watering would probably, I know in my case, would help a lot of my annuals. Um, Obviously, with it being so dry, watering is going to help. Deadheading can help if maybe give you a new flush of growth. Would be kind of the two things I would look at. As late as it is in the year, maybe you pull them out and get a mum to put in the ground. That may or may not establish, but if you still want that color, maybe look at replacing them with something else because they are annuals. I mean, you're not going to get them. They're not going to overwinter. So replace them or see if you can water them, nurse them back to health, deadhead, clean them up a little bit.
Mhm. All right. Excellent. Great job, Ken. You have answered the internet's questions. I think you get to go home early today.
Excellent. Well, as soon as I'm done asking New Year's, I'll head home.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So your first question is, can I collect seeds now for next year?
Well, that is one of those it depends questions. For the most part, I would say, yeah, if you're collecting seeds off of tomatoes, peppers, and of your beans, anything like that, sure, pick some of the most high quality ones that you can off of those plants, set those aside. And there are steps that you have to take for harvesting certain seeds, tomatoes, especially, where you have to ferment them in water. Outside of the vegetable garden, it depends on what species you want to be harvesting seeds. I would say most of my experience deals with like native plant seed harvest. So everything from your wild native forbs to your native prairie grasses. Um, and that is a huge educational piece right there. Some seed heads that look like they're ripe and ready to go, might not be, or maybe they've already dropped their seeds. And some of these native seeds can be teeny tiny, like the size of pepper flakes, or sometimes even smaller. And so I would say, depending upon your specific species, do a little bit of research about when that seed head is ripe and ready to harvest.
And is it a Project Wingspan that the
Mm,
pollinator partnership? They do a lot of those classes. So that may be something to look into if people are interested in
yes.
native plant seed collecting.
Mhm.
All right, next up for you. How often should I water my lawn in the fall?
That is a good question. I would say if you don't have an irrigation system, like a in-ground dedicated irrigation system, might maybe skip it for this fall. But again, it's another one of those. It depends. How dry are you? Right now, we are so dry, at least in Ken and my neck of the woods, that I would say we can skip watering the lawn, leave it dormant, um, allow it to stay dormant during this hot, dry time uh, of the season. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to cool off and bring some rain here in the next couple weeks. That should uh, bring that lawn, that cool season lawn, out of dormancy and allow it to then, put a little bit of growth on. Really, we want to do a lot of root growth this time of year and preparation for winter, and then spring for next year, where and then that just explodes in growth. Um, but it really depends. What are your precipitation levels at right now? If you have that in-ground irrigation system that's dedicated to it, I would say you'd be watering once a week. You want to be applying about an inch of water to that lawn during that week period. Unless you're getting rain, then keep your irrigation system turned off.
All right, we'll stick with the lawns here. Is now a good time to aerate and fertilize my lawn?
Once again, if you had rain, yes, this is the time when Illinois Extension recommends people aerate their lawns, overseed their lawns, fertilize their lawns. And of course, we're talking cool season lawns for most of Illinois. You can grow warm season lawns here, but most people are growing cool season lawns, Kentucky bluegrass, turf type tall fescue, perennial ryegrass, fine fescues. But for, I would say, 2/3 of Illinois, going from south up into central Illinois, we're just waiting. We're waiting for rain. We're waiting for a little bit of cool weather. Because right now, if you tried to aerate your lawn and the soil is as dry as it is, it would be like trying to aerate a slab of granite. The aerator's not going to be able to punch into the soil and pull out any clods of dirt. So it's just got to wait.
Get your cordless drill out and start.
There you go. If you're really bored, get your drill out. Start drilling holes in your lawn.
All right, another lawn one. It's funny how this worked out.
hmm
Should I treat crabgrass right now?
Um, yeah, no, don't worry about crabgrass right now. It's too late in the year. We've already have seed formation of crabgrass. It's already a lot of seed is already dropped in crabgrass, kind of well, depending upon where you're at and everything. But I'd say crabgrass is a summer annual. It germinates in the spring, kind of germinates throughout the summer. At this point, late in the season, it's too late. If you want to do something about crabgrass, you're going to want to do a pre-emergent herbicide on your lawn in in the spring. Crabgrass seed germinates when soil temperatures reach 55 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 to 7 consecutive days in a row. And for us, oh boy, Ken, this is so variable anymore in the spring, but for us, usually that's like April 15th. But I usually tell people if they're going to do the crabgrass pre-emergent, have it down by April 1st because it does take some time for that chemical to dissolve and become active in the soil. But that's central Illinois. Adjust yourself northern, central, southern Illinois based on that. Northern, southern Illinois based on that.
And that won't last all season, will it?
No, if so, that will help a lot with crabgrass. But there are other annual weeds, like foxtail is another very common weedy grass, a summer annual. So you will then need to reapply about 6 weeks after whatever that label says. But usually you do one by April 1st and then wait 6 weeks, do another application or whatever your product's label directions specify.
All right, next one. Is it time to plant spring bulbs or spring blooming
Oh,
bulbs?
I don't know. Again, these are all rain dependent. Sure. I guess you could. You'd have to again get that drill out. Maybe I would say you probably want to water too. Water the soil so you can even get digging in the ground. We might be a little bit early. I don't know if we're in the right time because I'm always late planting my spring bulbs. I'm always doing this in like mid-October into November. Um, it's just because I'm always late. But I would say you could probably start getting them in the ground, but I might wait again until we get cooler weather, looser soils. Um, we don't want to get them in the ground too terribly early either. So
I think it was
yeah.
usually 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks before the ground freezes.
Hmm.
So
Like
who
a
knows
hard
when?
freeze.
Yeah, who knows
Mhm.
when that's going to be anymore? But
We don't. It has been first or second week in November when we have gotten those frosts, those hard freezes, the last couple of years because we've been growing ginger and I've been keeping track of that stuff.
yeah, and by now, yeah, if you haven't ordered your bulbs, you're probably out of luck.
Sorry, yeah, I haven't ordered mine. I'll just maybe go to a nursery and see if they have any for sale. Yeah,
All right, last one here. Should I test my soil in the fall?
yeah, do it. Highly recommend it. We'll leave a link to our soil testing website down below in the show notes. Fall is a good time. It's when we usually recommend it. It's because we are we don't have many things growing. We're taking things out usually in the garden. Maybe if we had rain, we might be seeding a lawn, putting mulch down in a landscape bed. We're doing a lot of work outside. Great time to be taking a soil sample, sending it to a lab. Make sure that you submit specifically what your conditions are for. So if you are in a lawn, if you are in a vegetable garden, let them know that because very often they'll assume you're a corn and soybean grower if you are sending it to any Midwestern lab. But yeah, it's a good time. You can do it any time of year, but fall is a good time to do it. Which then means you can apply any amendments that is recommended by your soil test results, and you have all winter for some of those amendments to begin to take effect.
Yes. Good job.
Woo!
You two can go home early now.
Yay! I can go home and water. What I do. All right. Well, Ken, yeah. I guess folks, let us know what you thought of that format. I mean, it was we literally just mined the internet just to figure out what people are searching for right now. We're like, hey, let's just answer these questions. That's a good way to fill some time. ah, well, that was a lot of great information about questions going on this time of year. Well, the Good Growing Podcast is a production of University of Illinois Extension, edited this week by, is it Ken Johnson?
It is my turn.
All right, thanks, Ken. Edited this week by Ken Johnson. And so, yeah, thank you, Ken, for hanging out, answering the internet's burning horticultural questions. That was pretty easy. I like that. Keep doing that.
I think we may have to.
Yes.
I guess thank you as always, and let's do this again next week.
Oh, we shall do this again next week. Looking at the forecast, is that rain? Is it going to cool off? Hey, maybe we'll get to do some other things in the garden besides water. So looking forward to maybe something like that happening. Well, listeners, thank you for doing what you do best, and that is listening, or if you're watching this on YouTube, watching. And as always, keep on growing.